told him you never know. You never know.
I'm coming out to LA next week for a medical cannabis summit being put on by Mike Tyson and his cannabis company. I'm like, oh, no shit. And I'd been around the cannabis block for like 4 years and felt like I knew just about all the big players in it.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew Mike was even in it. So I'm like, okay, cool. I love that, dude. Mike Tyson. He says, yeah, I want to introduce you to them because I think you could do a lot with these guys. So I get introduced to Mike's partner, and he says, Eb, I got to put on this medical cannabis summit next week. I need your help. I was like, okay. I need you to come into the office, and I'll pay you to put this thing together, whatever you need. I just need your help, and it sounds like you're the guy. So I'm like, cool. He also goes, later I'm going to FaceTime you so you can meet Mike, and he can know you're cool. I was like, okay. So later that day, I'm getting out of the gym, and this dude FaceTimes me with Mike, and they're in some cigar lounge smoking weed, and Mike's stoned out of his mind, and he's like, what's up, Eben? I'm like, hey, brother, how are you, man? It's good to meet you, Mike. He's like, good, man, good. And I'm like, hey, dude, I'm really excited. I'm going to help you put on a great event, you know? Because I've done a ton of these panels. I just know how to do it. And I had the athletes and the people and the connections, so I was like, man, it's going to be great. And Rob, his partner, goes, okay. I'll talk to you later, Ed. You know, and hangs up. So Friday, I go in there. I basically pitched the whole company. And I hadn't met Mike in person yet. This is all a long way to say how Mike and I's relationship began. But I go in there. I give basically this spiel to the entire company. I tell them what we need to do, the format of it, the athletes we want to bring in, neuroscientists, team doctors, team owners we had at this thing. I let them take care of all the media personnel and the coverage they wanted to do of it. But Mike isn't there yet. And then all of a sudden, I've kind of finished my spiel, and all of a sudden I start hearing these whispers like, Mike's here. Mike's here.
Yep.
And it's like you could feel the energy. It was like Hercules was coming into the building.
Yeah, he's literally a tidal wave.
A fucking demigod is like coming in. And they're like, everybody out of the room, give us privacy. Eb, I want you to stay. So I'm like, okay. So I sit there. In walks Mike Tyson. And just his energy, you know. His energy, he was almost encased in a black cloud, you know. But I saw him, you know. I saw him. And I said, hey, Mike, it's great to meet you, man. I'm Eben. And he gave me a hug right away, you know. And I was like, God, the fuck, man? Like right away, it was like I felt his heart. I felt his humility. I felt him as a human being. And I just always treated him like that, you know. A lot of people around Mike, they treat him as this thing. They put him up on the pedestal. They treat him as something otherworldly.
Yeah.
And I always just approached him as my brother, as a human being, you know. And I think that's why he felt so comfortable around me.
What year was this when you met him?
This was 2018, May of 2018.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it just escalated right in, you know.
Yeah, man. And then, you know, there was some they brought me in. I put on this cannabis summit. It goes great. Have a bunch of it's amazing. It was a really good piece we did. They basically say, hey, we want you to stick around. We'll pay you, be a consultant for us. Bring us your cannabis contacts, etc. We just want you around. We love your energy, and we think you're good for this place.
You ready?